you're one of the innovators in the space, and I have to ask you, just in terms of the tactical nature of kind of this podcast, is how did you convince yourself to like take this leap and say, I think this is going to work, and not pivot too quickly?
So having a background as a hospitality consultant, I've helped owners and operators many times before open up new concepts, help things. And the biggest thing that I always tell them is like, you need to give things time. You need to have conviction in what you're doing, right? If something doesn't work for 90 days and you're ready to switch, then how much did you really believe in what you were doing in the first place? It takes time for your audience to understand what you're doing, especially for me, right? Very unique concept, confusing name. Is it a food truck? Is it not? Is it a ghost kitchen? Is it not? Mistakes that I've made in the past for sure on the branding aspect, but really just having conviction in what you were doing. I just believed that, again, the world was going to shift. I didn't know the pandemic was going to come, but I just saw the changing of the guard, right? It costs more to live where you live. Your entertainment costs more than it did before. People are spending more time than ever at home. And this is before the pandemic. So all these shifts were already happening. The pandemic obviously accelerated that. And then the last thing I'll say is just a little bit of luck and support in my world, which is, my wife has a steady, stable job that I knew that I could rely on when things were challenging for me. And they were, right? It was really hard to get off the ground. It was really hard the first couple of years. And if she didn't have a stable, steady job that could help us, I probably wouldn't have done something so quote unquote risky and taken this chance. So it was really, again, like timing has to be right. The support network has to be right. And then it's always a leap of faith, right? There's always a leap of faith. You're never going to be positive that what you're going to do is going to work. So you just kind of have to believe, and also believe enough that if it does not work, that you can pivot and you can figure something out once you've given it that honest try.
Dude, I love that. So I want to go back to when you started. You got this concept. You've kind of figured out, your niche, your lane. What was your first action?
Was really trying to find a space. For me, like it all starts, even if you're a ghost kitchen or a takeout concept, like it really starts with like, where are you going to be located? And like, where are you located? And what does that say about the brand? And that was a really challenging decision for me, especially because as ghost kitchens now are more popular, right? Most of them have decided to like go be in industrial areas away from people because the rent is really cheap, and then like bring in. I made the conscious decision not to do that because, again, I'm a hospitality person. So I wanted to be a part of the community. I wanted our customers to be able to walk in the front door, us to see their faces. Now, still 75% of our orders are delivery, but we have an activated space where people could come in, we can sample them on food, they can try things, we can chat with them. So real estate was definitely the first thing. And then, of course, the 800-pound gorilla in the room is always money, right? How are you going to afford to do this? How are you going to support things? How are you going to pay for this? How are you going to pay for that? And that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, was raising the amount of money necessary to even get this small 900 square foot operation off the ground.